You saw my video cooking the wood on the barbecue grill. Well, I wanted to cut down the process, cut down the time of having to heat up the middle, the ends. So what I did was, I just for my own knowledge, I looked up at what temperature aluminum melts. And aluminum don't melt unless it's 1200 degrees. And also, just so you know, as far as when we're cooking the wood ignites around 300 degrees. So you never want to go too hot with the wood. You want it to brown, to take your time, but you don't want to go too hot. It'll catch on fire, all right? So the idea is, this is 67. I cut it with snips. I have an extra piece. The extra piece, I guess, it's possible for me to lay it in and cook a longer stave if I want. But I have a shorter drawer, and 67 is all that I'll need. I think that jig I have, the back set jig, is like 66, 67 inches. So this is going to work out fine. So what I'm going to do next is, you see I have a stave shape. I just got to take down the thickness a little bit. I'm going to draw some lines on the side. We're going to take down the thickness. I'm going to take the belt sander. I'm going to try and get this shape today. With a little luck, I may try to steam this. I may try to steam it. Take a chance. See if I can put some recurves on the end of this. Okay, I drew some lines. They're about 5/8. Okay. I'm going to take it down to that 5/8 line. Then I'm going to make sure that they're symmetrical, the limbs, the widths, top and bottom. And then we're going to go in the house, and what we're going to do is try to steam bend these. The hickory stave I had outside. I made it even thickness, it's like 5/8, and I made the width of the bow all about the same. It's like 1.25 inches. Okay, I'm going for a skinny design. I know it's not as stable as a wide one. And then we're going to recurve the ends. I'm going to boil this. This is going to be boiled for 40 minutes. And the pot actually steamed. It's going to be steamed. I put it in a pot with water, about this much water. And what we do is I make this little chute. So what I'm doing is making a chimney. And this goes around the pot. And it's going to steam for 40 minutes, and we're going to try and bend it. If we're successful, then we got a recurve. If not, I might be making a kitty bow. So we'll see what happens. Cooking hickory, 2 minutes left. Okay, it's been 40 minutes, taking it out, handle up. Okay, clamp tight. Can't wait too long. Tight, tight. Tight, tight. Okay, here goes nothing. Either it breaks or it don't. Gotta grab the strap. It don't want to go, so I'm gonna just bend a little flip tip on it. I'm just gonna keep it like this. You gotta know when to stop. We're gonna put like a little flip tip on it. I don't want to go anymore, and I don't want to crack it. Bend it even. But so far, no grain lift. Everything looks good. It's cooling. And then we're going to cook the other side. When you're bending the wood and the camera falls off the stand, you keep on going. You don't stop. So we'll see what kind of bend we get out of this. Today has not been a good day for filming. If you go wrong, it goes wrong. Okay, I tried to film it before and the camera fell off the stand, and the second time this one didn't want to go all the way. I had to re-cook it, but we're done. We're making recurves on a raw hickory stave. We're putting recurves on. And then we're going to put this later on a back set jig, and we're going to cook it at some later date. We're going to cook it, and we're going to fire harden it. Okay, I recurved the ends of this raw hickory stave that was shaped into a bow. Okay, so, and then I sanded it nice and smooth. The limbs are as symmetrical as I could get them. Okay, I'm going to fire harden this recurve first chance I get. Okay, it's sanded, and if you notice, there's a ever so slight back set there'll be, and when it's all clamped down, I'll put the brackets on the bottom. I had to put these extensions so the brackets would clear the limbs to hang it up and heat and cook this. But I just want to show you the recurve jig that I made. Okay, I had a 2x4 and I wasn't going to buy extra wood, so I cut this little block out. And before I went to bed, I just put a little tight bond and glued them on the ends just to hold it. So the next morning, I could put, when I put screws through it, I actually put pilot holes and then put wood screws through it to hold it. You know, it will be set and it'll be less fussing around to do. So here we go. I got the angle lines on there. Okay, there's 2 screws holding this block of wood into this here. And then I got the angle lines. We got a little slightest bit of back set here. It's going to get clamped on here, and then we're going to hang it, and the belly is going to get heat treated. It's actually, the belly isn't getting heat treated. The belly is going to get cooked. We're cooking the belly. Okay, this is my rain gutter that I'm going to put the charcoals in, and I'm going to use that same barbecue grill I used in the first heat treating video. And what I have here is just a thin piece of, looks like galvanized, I guess, and I bolted it onto the gutter, and this part is going to go on the edge of the grill. This will sit on top of the grill, and I'll use a clamp just to hold this in place. You know, I'm only holding coals in here, and then the form will be above it. And because this is thin aluminum, what my friend Cliff suggested was just to keep the coals off of the base of this, is take some charcoal, take some tin foil and crumble the tin foil and put the charcoal on top of the tin foil so it's raised off of the bed of this a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to crinkle up tin foil, put the coals on, let them go on fire, just to keep a little space off the base. Okay, so you know that stem I put on, that I bolted on, that goes down inside? Well, you're able to get a little clamp inside that bent hole and hold it in place. So it's pretty sturdy, it ain't going nowhere. I put foil in so it's not directly on the aluminum. The jig, I had to extend the clamps. All right, the clamps were a little short, I had to extend them. That's done, now we're gonna light it up. We have fire. As soon as the coals get hot, you know, then we're going to put that, we're going to start cooking wood. Let me move this post out of the way so it don't catch on fire. Put it back once the coals catch. It's a little windy, I hope it don't go out. Okay, it's 3:20 now, and I got it sort of adjusted. That side might be a hair lower. We're going to go slow and low cooking. I just got to watch the handle. I may have to move some of the wood away from the handle. Okay, now I really have to watch it. I got it lower. I'm in the pool so I could actually see underneath cooking. All right, so it hasn't even started to brown yet, but I got it even and lower, fairly even and lower, so we got to just wait now, be patient, and make sure it don't go on fire. Okay, it's 4 o'clock and I see some color happening underneath there. Color's coming along, it's coming along. Okay, I actually raised it up a peg just to slow it up a little bit. Just to slow it up a little bit. It's 4 o'clock. Fireplace gloves. Yeah, it's going. Okay, you can see I have the coals pushed to the end. So I'm trying to heat up just at the end tip. There's hardly any coals here because it's getting really toasty there. And then I got to do the same on the other side. Okay, get your fireplace gloves on. Make sure these clamps are snug, that they're not going to fall off and burn your feet. If they are loose, the wood shrinks. Okay? I'll pick this off and show you carefully. I'm going to use my pen. Okay, check it out. See that light brown in there? Okay, we're going to turn it around and we're going to toast this end here. Okay, just so you know, as these coals are burning, I add new coals on top of them. Okay, so that tip over there went for 45 minutes. Yeah, let's take a look at it. See how brown it is all the way up to the top there? Okay, and then this one here is going to go for 45 minutes too, and then we're going to put it on and let it cook a little bit more on top of these coals that we got going here. All right, and so you know, I cleared out a little space where the riser is so it wouldn't catch on fire because it was lower. Just left a couple of coals on the base so it's kind of cooking evenly. All right, I'm new at this and I'm kind of loving it. So okay, so the clamp slid off the end and it dropped a little, so I just put a screw through that hole of the bracket, just enough so this clamp would hold and not slide off, and I was able to bite it enough. So there we go, heating up the ends. I added some more coals to keep it going, and you do that throughout the cook. You add a couple of coals here or there just to keep the fire going. I added another clamp on the end, and I moved the clamps just over like a little bit, and I'm gonna heat up and see if I can get rid of some of those white spots from the clamps hiding, you know. Didn't do that last time, but this time I figured let me move them over a little bit. Once that end is done, that's the last end, then we're going to cook it a little more, slow cook it. Okay, so a little update on my fire hardened recurve. It had a split in the fade out that I had to sand down and take out. And I said, oh, that's not good. It's going to be a real thinner limb, and it's not going to be anywhere near the weight. It's going to be a kiddie bow. So I started to tiller it, and even though the tiller isn't perfect now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these recurves ends off and reshape it and make it a little shorter longbow. And we're gonna see what happens. So I know the tiller is a little off, but I don't want to do nothing until I cut the recurve ends off. It's 18 pounds. It's 18 pounds at 26.5 inches, so I got to cut some of this off and restart again, but I have to take a shot or two with my fire hardened recurve, even though it's all messed up. So here we go. See that little piece of paper there? Okay, touched it. Touching arrows, you see that? Touching arrows down there. So I got to shoot my fire hardened recurve, and now this video is going to change. I'm going to cut off the tips, make it a little more weight, and make it a longbow. It's long enough, I could do that. So it's like starting from scratch. I'll cut them off and I'll show you what we got. Okay, just show you before I take it all down. It's a 58 end to end, 56 inch. It's going to be a 56-inch longbow. We'll see how many pounds we get out. I only went down 10 inches and marked for a taper. So from ½ inch wide, it's going to be like this. Here, see, I took this down, this side down a little, out to 10 inches is flared. And going to do the same on this one now, and then we're going to put string grooves and tiller it. See what happens. Just going to take a minute to talk about my adventures with this fire hardening. One, the fire hardened bows shoot fast enough. You don't have to mess around with the recurves. You know, every time you do a recurve, you have to worry about straightening out the limbs. They're a little off or whatever. And they're a pain in the neck to heat treat too, trying to heat treat them. And because I had developed a little crack here, what I'm going to do from now on is, you saw my poles that I hang the bow on. I'm going to hang them a little higher for an hour just to get some of the moisture out. And then just waste an hour. Just let them dry out for an hour higher, you know, higher off of the coals, you know, and on the rack. And then after that hour, then I'll cook it. You don't want to just take the raw wood and start cooking. And that's what I'm going to do. So I went from a 18-pound recurve that I didn't want to finish tillering because I would have had nothing left, to saying, okay, let me cut the recurve ends off. I'll make a 56-inch bow, knock to knock, and we'll see what we come up with. We came up with a 28-pound bow. It's like a 28-pound fun bow. So let's see. See that little piece of white over there? That paper? Let's see what we could do. Right on top of it. So it's shooting pretty good. Let me get another one. Okay, we've got one more here. It's going to be the last shot, just to see the white piece of paper. Okay, arrows are next to each other. So anyway, that's the deal with this. You're better off when you fire harden the bow. Don't mess with the recurves. It's fast enough fire hardened. Stick with the longbow style. Okay, learn from my mistakes. 28 pounds, shoots pretty good. It's hot. I'll go in the backyard and play with it later. Well, with this recurve that turned out to be going back to a longbow, like I said, I had a lot of mistakes that I learned by, and I got a longbow at 26.5 inches that pulls about 28. I just took a couple shots with it, unstrung it, brought it in the house, and I looked at it, and I noticed it had a little back set in it. And I was wondering to myself, a couple questions that I can't answer is, I understand when you pull back a bow that the inside fibers compress and you can get string follow or set. Well, I fire hardened it originally and then took out a lot of wood because of the crack. And I wonder, I put it back on a jig, that jig that I had, the recurve jig, which is a little bit of a back set, clamped it up, and what I'm going to do is fire harden it again for a couple of hours. And I understand the whole concept of once a fiber crushes, it can't get uncrushed, but I don't know how much they really are crushed or they're flexing or whatever. So we're going to heat up these coals, fire harden it, check it, shoot it, see if we get more weight than that 28 pounds I pulled back. And the name of the bow, okay, providing it don't break, is Mistake, because I made a lot of mistakes and I'm learning by it. So Mistake, we're going to see if we can get a little more than 28 pounds and see if we could eliminate that little bit of back set that I had there, string follow that I had. And that's it. That's what it's all about, experimenting. This heat, this cooking of the wood is kind of a new thing for me. Everything's new. I started in December, but the cooking of the wood is new to me. And I'm hoping that I took off so much material that when I cook it, I'll get a deeper cook and things will change for the better. It's like another 100-degree day out here. And it's 2:15, and we're cooking wood. We're gonna cook it again because I removed so much material because of a crack that we're going to try. Hopefully it'll get fire hardened one more time. See, I got to lower that one side one notch. But okay, it's 2:15 and it's going to go for a couple hours. Okay, when you're checking the wood underneath, make sure you have both of those fireplace gloves on. That one side dropped and just touched the coals, and just touching the coals, the wood ignited because it's so dry. You see underneath? You see that black spot there? I was able to wipe it off with the glove and put it out, but now we just got to be careful and let it slow cook. That little bit there will be sanded off, it'll be fine. It was just a second, but that second was enough to just char and burst into flames. Mistake. That's a good name for this bow, because there's been a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of mistakes along the way, including just for a second that hitting the coals and igniting. But we got it on the right height, and it's slowly cooking now, and I'm sure that that quick char will sand off, or you won't see it. We'll get it stain, nice stain to cover everything up. Okay, it's been going for an hour. I put a little bit of the coals towards the end by the tips. I added a couple of more charcoals just to keep it going, and another hour. It's almost done. See, I piled up some of the coals on the end by the tips because the tips need a little bit more to go, and we're going to let them go for around a half hour or so, and we'll be done. It'll be like 2 hours, a little more than 2 hours that this has been cooking, low and slow. And with the exception of touching the coals and spontaneously igniting, it's been a good cook. And then we're going to see if it holds the set, and we're going to see how many pounds we get, and check the tiller and shoot it. It's 4:30. This has been cooking for 2.5 hours, but actually just the ends have been cooking. The ends have been cooking for the past hour. They started cleaning up, and I can actually grab the middle without the fireplace gloves. And let's see what we got here. Okay, this is where we had the spontaneous combustion, and I was able to put it out. Really not that bad. I'll be able to sand that. Okay, let's look at the side that was normally heated. Okay, got a nice color throughout it. Okay, and then again, what we're going to do is just see if it maintains the back set. We're going to have to re-tiller it. We're going to let it cool for a day just to acclimate, to get some moisture back, you know, so it's not so brittle. And tomorrow what we'll do is we'll quickly tiller it, shoot it, and check it to see if it maintains a little back set, or even, just even will be happy. Okay, let's see what happens. Remember, it was 28 pounds before I heat treated it for the second time. So it'll be interesting to see what we come up with. Okay, so I unclamped it, and look. See the back set? It's got some back set in it. Like I said, I'm not doing nothing till tomorrow, till I take it in the house and let the moisture. But we have a little back set going on here, all right? And I'm gonna do a little sanding. That's all I'm gonna do, is a little sanding tonight and put it away. And tomorrow we're gonna tiller it and shoot it again, see how many pounds. And let's see if that fire hardening for the 2.5 hours, you know, 2 hours good on the body and the other half hours on the ends there. And we're going to see if the pounds increased from 28 pounds at my draw length. Be interesting to see. Here we are the next morning with my was a recurve, and that is now a 56-inch fire hardened longbow. Okay, I checked the tiller this morning real quick, just had to remove just a tiny bit of material, and it's got a 6-inch brace height, 58 inches. Let me just tell you what the pounds are. It's a little less than the 29 that it was yesterday because I tilted it a little bit. Let's see what we got. It's 24.30 pounds, so it's 24.5 pounds. Okay, at my 26.5 inch draw length. Okay, got some Entrada 700 spine arrows, and this will be the first time I'm going to shoot this little target bow and see how they fly. Okay, so that bear target is probably about 15 yards. So I'm not sure where. It's a lighter bow, but I have lighter arrows. I'm not sure where it's going to hit. I'm going to put the point right on, see where it hits. If it hits high or whatever, I'll know what to do. Okay, it shot high, and that was the point on. So what I'm going to do is take another shot at that bear, and this time I'm going to shoot like on the bottom of the 10 ring. Because once this is my first time shooting it, I have no idea where it was going to shoot. It's pretty fast, actually. You know, 15 yards, it's shooting a little high. So, okay, that's about it. That's about it. I shot like on the bottom of the 10 ring, maybe. So now we're going to shoot that deer over there. That's at 20 yards. The deer that's with the bag target is 20 yards. Okay, just a tiny bit low. I'm going to take that one over again too. So let's see what I got. So far, the bottom of the 10 ring at 15. I'm going to try the top of the 10 ring at 20. Okay, good enough for now. Let's try that deer target way back there at 25 yards. It's got a nice group going on anyway. Let's try 25 yards, that deer way in the back. I'm going to put the point on top of the back. Okay, height is pretty good. I'm going to take another one. Perfect. I tried to be a shooting machine, kept my arm up, hand against my face, and it went where it was supposed to go, at the top of the back. So I got to tell you, for a little 25-pound bow, this thing's pretty fast, and I'm really happy with it. We'll just take a quick walk to look at the arrows. Okay, the bear, I had aimed the bottom of the 10. It went up there. I'm touching arrows at 20. You see I'm touching them. And what I tried to do is put it up on top of the 10 ring. But it was more or less a little, almost close to the point on. I was touching on both of them. "25 yards, the height is good for on top of the back. This one might have came off my face a little. But anyway, for fire hardened bow, this thing was a tree. It was a tree a week ago, you know. And I wanted to make a recurve. And because of the low pounds, I made it a longbow. So things I learned, like the name of this is going to be Mistake. M-I-S, take. M-I-S-S actually, take. T-A-K-E, mistake. You know. And the bottom line, what I found out was just heat treat these a little higher on the grill, and then on your heat source for like an hour. Let it dry up a little bit, and then you could cook it. And in that hour, believe it or not, it really dries it up nicely, you know, and then you could cook the wood. And this is a way of beating all these guys that are robbing you. You could go cut a tree, shape it, you can cook it, and have a workable bow with whitewood. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. You know, give it a try, it works. And watch my other videos at Bear Bow Joe. Every morning you wake up is a good morning, make the best of it.